My name is Tyler Skidelsky,
And my name's Hasan, Jhaveri.
and we're doing our TED Talk on the psychology of running.
Keep in mind this is a rough copy, so there's going to be different cues and stuff going on, like PowerPoints and videos, and we'll get better at the script also. So here it goes. We love doing LSD.
Yeah, I would say we do it both around 5 or 6 times a week.
It's actually great for the morning when you're all sleepy. It wakes you up, the feeling of euphoria and synesthesia.
LSD, It's great, but we aren't talking about that type of LSD in our TED Talk. We're talking about long, slow distance running.
Long, slow distance running gives you all those feelings and more, but we'll later explain why we call it the runner's high.
Well, when someone thinks of long, slow distance running, they generally think of the marathon.
But many people don't know where the word marathon comes from. Well, see, there's a Greek messenger who was running from the town of Marathon to Athens, and he was going to announce that the Persians had been defeated in the battle. And it just so happened that
The distance he ran was 26 miles, hence the 26 miles of the marathon. But what happened in the end was that after he delivered his message, he collapsed and died.
You see, he died after 26 miles. But what we have found are ancient people that can run up to 150 to 200 miles at a time, which even for Tyler is quite challenging.
These ancient people are called the Raramuri. They are native to Mexico and live in the higher mountainous regions like the Copper Canyon.
However, what's amazing about these people is that they're still living to this day. In 2006, there was a census, and they counted around 70,000 of their indigenous people. That's remarkable because you don't see Aztecs walking around sipping tequila or Mayans anywhere in Mexico City.
The Aztecs, Mayans, and the Raramuri all existed at the same time, though. How could Raramuri survive, but the great Aztecs and Mayans couldn't?
Running.
You see, when the Aztecs and Mayans fought back against invaders, the Raramuri ran from them and kept running and running.
They ran for their life, for their food and their water. They ran because running was the most significant part of their existence and the reason they're still here today. In fact, Raramuri translates directly to the running people.
But what's ironic is that running is natural for all human beings. Think about it. Cavemen were scared of everything. They were the biggest babies of the jungle, and they ran from everything.
It's instinct. Humans couldn't fight to hunt animals either. They were scared of everything. Not even Hulk Hogan could take on a small monkey. They would have to run and run and run until they outlasted every animal, and that's how early humans hunted. In fact, the Raramuri used this technique and applied it to their entire lives.
The Raramuri were also very family-based and always stuck together. In fact, young ones and the oldest members would join in on these runs for food, which made sense. The old ones had the most knowledge, and the younger ones had the speed.
The Raramuri loved running, but the problem in our culture is now more than ever, people are harking over the displeasurement and pain of running. Running is not lacking of pain. Lately, we've been talking about pain a lot in psychology, and what we've learned is that pain is 100% mental. I'm going to throw a word out to the crowd, and they should probably know it if they're paying attention in psychology. The word is multisensory integration. If you know it, raise your hand and tell us, depending on what they say.
Basically, it's the study of how our brains integrate all the information we pick up from our senses. Think about sight. So everything comes in through our cornea, and then pupils, through the lens, and then into the retina, and then finally to the brain so you can see. Well, integration explains how when you see something, it somehow integrates emotions, happy and sad and everything, into what we are seeing.
This is the same for all senses, including touch. So when we touch something, it is our brains that are telling us, ouch, this is hot, or oh, this feels good. In effect, we can decide what's painful and what's not because we can integrate our emotions and mental feelings and what we're physically feeling at that time.
For example, I've learned to turn off pain when I am in my races and when I think of other things.
A great example of how pain can be seen as 100% mental is by talking about the rubber hand illusion.
Basically, the tester places a fake rubber hand on a box, which covers your real hand. Both hands resemble each other.
The tester then tricks the person's brain by touching the rubber hand with feathers and other things, and scratches it. So eventually it's seen as the person begins to feel the sensations as if the rubber hand is now his own hand.
This phenomenon is so valid that when the tester brings out a mallet to hit the rubber hand and hits it, the person screams. Their heart rate rises and begins to sweat as if he were actually hit by a mallet.
Pain is there even if your limbs don't exist, which also explains the phantom limb syndrome many amputees have.
These people still feel pain in their arms, as vivid as if they had their limbs still. but they aren't even there.
The brain just thinks they are. In fact, the way doctors have treated this is by putting the other hand in a box with a mirror on one side. So the reflection of the other arm, with the reflection of the other arm, the brain can be tricked into feeling the tension release, and the pain eventually subsides.
So pain is mental, but pain is good. Don't get us wrong. We need pain to live. The cool thing about running is the pain subsides when we release endorphins. Again, mental process that act as pain relievers.
These endorphins interact with the receptors in your brain and reduce the perception of pain. Endorphins also trigger a positive feeling in the body, similar to that of morphine, which is what we call the runner's high.
Studies have shown the more release of these natural pain relievers, the less stressful you feel, and the happier you are generally throughout your day.
Men's Health magazine talks about this phenomenon in a particular case of a man named Richard Haig. Haig retired at the age of 38 from one of the top security firms in the nation, so financially he was set for life. However, he became increasingly bored.
The article goes on to explain that Haig started to enjoy running as a pastime, entering 2-mile races ever so often. Eventually, he was able to run a 63-mile charity race. Not only did his fitness improve, but he also felt better.
All of a sudden, Haig went back to work as the CEO of his company. After working for so long and being retired for so long, he went back to work because all of a sudden his life became so much more livelier with running.
I could see this in my own 4-year case study we did with Chiok. When he doesn't run, I've noticed a clear change in the way he acts. He is more moody and cranky and not a good person to be around just because he didn't get his run in. Maybe he's addicted to LSD.
Science backed this up, this happy phenomenon up. Neurological studies have shown an immense increase in brain activity after a run. Simply stated, it wakes your brain up. This helps prove the fact that people that run before a day's work increase the efficiency of what they're doing, no matter what it is.
Edward Hallowell, MD, a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, calls running a wonder drug for the brain.
Which is so fitting for this LSD presentation.
He has found that running more than Adderall and any other ADHD medications cure poor mental focus and anxiety. So running before the day of a test is the best way to prepare. I do it all the time.
See how easily we just solved all the world's problems? For hunger, you run for your food. For existence, you just run away from the danger. For sticking together, you run as a family. For health, running obviously helps your health. For war, you can just have a race and see who's the winner. I promise the world will be a better place if we're all high doing LSD.
So come get high with me and Hasan before school one day in the morning at 6:45, and I'll guarantee you'll love it.
I hope you enjoyed the talk. I hope you learned a lot. Enjoy the rest of the TED Talks, and thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you.